Hello! Right, I'm back. Is that any better? I've just set the audio to mono because it's only me. Yay! That's good. That won't help when I start playing games again, which won't be tonight, I hasten to add, because this thing is going to be rendering for the next 10 years. But when it's only me, it doesn't matter, does it? None of this matters. I just thought I'd put it on for a laugh. Perhaps I ought to do some self-promotion as well. Have you joined the Discord group? Etc, etc. I haven't honestly monetised this, have I? So have. Oh well. If I start fiddling with anything now, we are screwed. Edit card. Oh, the 12 days of Christmas is on the cards. Should probably get rid of that. Yeah. I didn't know that OBS had a built-in browser. So OBS is streaming its own built-in browser without streaming mine. There is a Discord, yes. Have you not been reading? There is a Discord. I put out a handy list of links to stuff. It's underneath, actually, underneath the trailer video. Have you seen my new trailer? So proud of that. Obviously, I didn't do most of the work on it. I give him the words and he does what he wants. But yeah, there is a Discord. I'm just trying to find the invite. Where's it gone? Invite people. Invite people. Can I paste it in here? I bet I can't. Oh, I can. I thought YouTube would get funny about that, but it hasn't. That's good. It says a wild Barry M appeared. Let's say absolutely nothing is going to happen in this at all. Just that number. The website says that it updates every 30 seconds in real time, like the subscribers do, but it's actually lies because it can only update as often as YouTube updates itself, which is hardly ever. But who knows? Maybe if I get enough people watching this, it will cause it to roll over. I need like 171 people. I just did some maths live. I need 171 people to watch this stream so that we can get there sooner rather than later. I don't know, what can I do that's only audio? I could probably tell fortunes or something. Hello! Hello, hello, hello. There's 15 people out there, actually, but only about 5 of you are saying hello. I hope you're not expecting anything to happen. This is my view count live, which will roll over approximately once an hour or something. Stupid. Which is really irritating. But it's fine. I really hope you can't hear the fact that I'm watching bobsledding in the background as well. Because I am. The reason I'm not playing any games is because I'm actually rendering a video at the moment in the background for the 5th time, in the hope that the quality gets better. It's 7 Days to Die, and whenever I render the video, which came out at some preposterously high bitrate in fraps, my video editing programs, both of them, completely destroy it, and like totally destroy it all, and it's pixelated and it's really annoying. Hello! You got Nikki and Bunty, you got Dennis, Interference. Oh, son of a Fitch. Hello to you. Says I'll throw in a hello as well. You do that. You might as well, because nothing else is going to happen in this. If that number moves at all, I'm going to fall off my chair. But I'll tell you what I've been doing. None of this was supposed to happen. On Tuesday evening, I got in and was like, I already know that I want a rebrand. I might just have a little fiddle around, and the next thing I knew, I'd fiddled around a bit more, and then I uploaded it, and then people started to like it. I mean, all these graphics are supposed to be placeholder graphics. And they've ended up a bit more than that, which is fine. Oh, Russell is asking what snacks people have. That's an excellent question. I actually haven't got anything at all because I've just eaten a pie. You might have seen a picture of said pie on Twitter. It was an awesome pie. It was the cheesiest of pies with cheese sauce in. You know the cheese and onion pies they do in Chippies? Because they're pucker pies as well. They're not that cheesy, or at least I haven't had one in years, so maybe they are now. But that one, whew! They're £1 in Waitrose at the moment, for information. Absolutely stunning. Oh, Interference says, I've just had one of those Grey's crunchy packet things, barbecue flavour. Oh my god, I love those. Is it the Smokehouse Barbecue Crunch? Because that one is particularly fantastic. It's way cheaper to buy it in a big bag. If they still sell the big bags. They're about £2, I think. And they're brilliant. Russell's got caramel shortcake bites from Sainsbury's. Which one of you is it who lives very close to Sainsbury's and goes out and gets all the reduced stuff? Somebody does. But yeah, they do big bags of the barbecue one. The barbecue one and one of the other ones. It might be the veggie protein one. But yeah, they're amazing. Oh, Boris Trousers is here. Hello, he says, I've just had a chicken madras. Saturday night, innit? Dear. This is so silly. This isn't going to happen. But, you know, we can all have a chat anyway. Nothing will happen. If it does, I will fall off my chair. There we go. I have got some plans when I hit the million, but this has rather caught up with me in that none of this was supposed to be happening. No, was supposed to be no rebrand, no million views, no anything this week, and then they all went together. So by Wednesday I had a rebranded channel. By today I've almost totally rebranded absolutely everything. I even set up a Twitter account with my old username just in case anybody decided to pilfer it and think it was hilarious to masquerade as the old Gameplay Jenny. I don't think anybody would, but you just never know with people, do you? Son of a Fish says, I work with someone who hovers around the reduced shelves in Co-op after work every night. So do I, except it's not after work because they start reducing stuff really early in hours. But it's very disappointing. You used to be able to go in and get a huge cake or something for about 50p. And now they only take about 10% off, or 25% I think was the most. Which is what Waitrose do. And that's really annoying. I suppose if you go in much later, they probably mark it down again and again and again. I'm going to check now whether they do Grey's bags anymore. Grey's BBQ bags. That could come back with something very different. There we go. Grey's Barbecued Crunch Sharing Bag. 104 grams. Sharing. Oh, hang on. I found a broken link. Does it not exist anymore? Or have they just stopped selling it? Grey's Sharing Bags. Log in for pricing. What? Oh, that's a wholesaler's. Anyway, they do exist. I just fear maybe they don't exist anymore, which would be horrific. Maybe they don't, but they definitely did. Oh, Stupendous M says hello from me. Has the full rebranding of the Jenny phenomena taken full effect? What are your plans? What are my plans? First is to go on holiday because I need a couple of days off. But I'm going to try and stream some food from there. Oh, I've just given away my plan. That's supposed to be a surprise. But anyway, I was thinking that I might do like a... Is it called a mukbang? You know, like where you just eat loads of food and talk? Because that sounds like the sort of thing I could do. I can certainly talk. I can certainly eat. I don't see why I couldn't do them at the same time. Like go and get some food from the seaside. I thought I might do that. Then games-wise, we've got 7 Days to Die, 2 Point Hospital, Stardew Valley. But I've got a problem with Raft. Because every time I record Raft, the footage comes out completely bleh, like really properly, unwatchably pixelated and horrible. I'm having a bit of that problem with 7 Days to Die at the moment, which is why it's re-rendering for the 6th time. But the actual footage is coming out crap, rather than the rendering, because video rendering is about the settings in the program. So there's a bit of a problem with that. I tried live streaming it as well, and that was awful. It was just unwatchable. So yeah, carry on with those 3 games. And then, you know me, we'll just end up doing silly things on Patreon, doing The Sims, food games. Somebody, it's Dennis, wasn't it? You suggested the movies. And I did manage to get it working. So might introduce that as well. I'm actually missing the theme park type games, so like Parkitect, that sort of thing. I have got Planet Coaster, which I'm ashamed to say I haven't played yet, so might introduce that. I just like my management games and my creative stuff. I sort of went off City Skylines because it was just a bit... I know this is going to sound a bit silly, but it was almost too easy. Like, the disasters weren't disastrous enough and that sort of thing, so I decided to give it a break. Erstlorb is saying, cough, that art game, cough. You really liked that, didn't you? You really liked that. Passepartout, it's called, The Starving Artist. Yeah, we will have to do that again, because it was just such a laugh and loads of people showed up. It was on New Year's Eve. People showed up to that. But yeah, we'll have to do that again, won't we? I missed somebody's message though. What was it? Oh, ZX Becky asked why the name change. Just really fancied a rebrand, and it's been on the cards for months and months and months and months and months. Because the gameplay thing has always been a bit restrictive. I've always felt like the other videos I do are kind of like not what I should be doing. And I think psychologically that stops me from doing other things. And I think also when people show up, they're like, oh, it's all games. But I just wanted it to be generic so that I didn't have to think like that anymore. Because originally, the plan when YouTube was nice, friendly environment to be in, and you didn't get your view counts halved overnight for no reason, I wanted a gaming channel and a sort of fitnessy type channel and an everything else channel, so like the food and stupid things people sent me, but it just didn't work out because trying to get subscribers on one channel's hard enough. This is turning into a Q&A. I quite like this. This is turning into a Q&A. I should advertise this as a Q&A session. So yeah, I just decided, I thought, I need to pull all this together, and videos about other things seem to go down quite well. That one I did about the Lego Movie stickers did really well for me. And then I did one about the trading cards and that didn't. So I can't play the algorithm, it's just not in me. So I just want all of my stuff in one place, in the Jennyverse. God, I agonised over that name as well. All sorts of things that I couldn't have. But it's kind of worked. I like it. ZX Becky says, would you play Planet Coaster? Yeah, I probably would do. So we'll see about that. Those sorts of games are really good for live streams. I like seeing what I can build in an hour. Movies was a massive wasted opportunity. It wasn't quite there yet. I agree. I had a lot of fun with it as well. But yeah, I found that, ironically, I actually found the filmmaker the hardest part. I love the dragging people around and making them do stuff. That sounds terrible. But yeah, yes, very frustrating. It's a very frustrating game, but I'm really tempted to do a bit of it. You can go horribly wrong with it as well. When I started playing it again, just to remind myself how to play it, I just went into debt and that was that. So I was dragging people around going, oh, hang on a minute, I've got this horribly wrong. But I do like it, and I like the look of it, and I love the sound effects. And the music in the menu screen is one of my favourite things ever. I'd just do a whole stream of the music. I just love it. So yeah. Interference says, have you experimented with different recording software? Yes, like you wouldn't believe. Yes, the footage is absolutely fine. It looks fine. And I've now rendered it out in 3 different editing programs and they're all being stupid. So, yeah, I'm going to start seeing if I can record in OBS just because it's easier than having more than one application to do it. But obviously I can't re-record 7 Days to Die, that episode of 7 Days to Die now, and I can't leave it out because you miss a day if I do that. And believe me, the ending, you don't want to miss. So from that perspective, it's a bit late, so I might just have to have pixelated 7 Days to Die. And then I will start experimenting with other things when I have some time. Urslorb says, just for context, I did that Banksy thing, or did you? It was hilarious. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, some of you might have seen that somebody, turns out to be Urslorb, sent me a Banksy-esque picture of me throwing a melon, which was quite funny. Yeah, if you want to know how Jennyverse happened on Wednesday, you should probably go and read the tweets from that day. It explains it better than I can. Son of a Fitch says, we created a whole bizarre universe around the characters we created and their recurring roles in the movies. It was incredibly childish, but we still have them all backed up on video files. I put my friends into it, and if I do it, I'll probably put Patreon people into it because they should be in videos. That's one of your little Patreon perks, is you get your name in videos when I do videos like that. I just haven't done one in a while, or at least not on the main channel. We also need a football one. I want to make a football team properly, and I should probably do the ice hockey thing again. The DOS ice hockey video was great. I really enjoyed that. And it scares me that was about 6 years ago now. What I need to do, talking about plans, is go back to some stuff I used to do. Sort of repeat it. John Wolfe's doing that. I didn't get the idea off him. I'd already thought of it myself because I suppose it's probably a fairly common sense idea. But he's just hit some number of subscribers, I think. And he started going back and playing games that he played at the very beginning. I'm not doing Oblivion again, though, for the time being. I think we can probably all deal without a third series of that. But yeah, there's just so many things. There's so many things you can do. And then I do want to do more food videos. I'm actually looking into setting up, I keep saying this and it keeps not happening, but looking into setting up a little studio in my spare bedroom so that I can actually taste food and show you food with me in the picture rather than it being a sofa. So yeah, it's an intriguing little world I'm in now. It's not, it's a universe, isn't it? It's a Jennyverse, in fact. You see how your mind starts to work? I don't have to just do gameplay things anymore! Yes! But I'm going to try and live stream from the sea when I am there. That would be nice. The weather's supposed to be amazing. Have you seen the weather forecast for tomorrow particularly? 16 and sunny, which is fantastic. Well, I've now been sitting here 24 minutes, and that thing has not shifted one little bit, has it? It might only shift like once every 2 hours or something. If that is the case, that's going to be really embarrassing. But I rather like this. I tell you what, let's make this into an impromptu Q&A. You ask me your Q's and I will give you some A's. How does that work for you? I'm just going to have to tweet that though, because otherwise nobody will know that I'm doing it. In fact, can I change the name of the stream? Yes, I can. Q&A stream. Englander says, hello JV, show us your trick shots. Yeah, what is it with this whole JV John Virgo thing? Jennyverse. Jennyverse. I should start playing snooker. Million views, possibly. Q&A stream, join us, there we go, changed it, or YouTube will change it at some point in the near future. There we go, all changes saved. Pot as many balls as you can. God, I remember that. I could probably sing you the theme tune, which is frankly terrifying. Ay. Oh, come on, shift number. Shift, please. This is now a Q&A stream. Join us. I was going to do a Q&A anyway, when I hit the million. I was going to do a few things when I hit the million. Ursulb says, I missed the Saturday tea time tedium of shows like that. Oh, it wasn't tedious. It was good. This is son of a bitch. I used to sit eating my fish and chips watching that and the Generation Game with Brucey. Yep. I tell you one thing that I absolutely loved that I was thinking about the other day and I desperately miss is, let's see if anybody can get it from the theme tune. Yes, you win. Interference wins with Challenge Annika. Was that not fantastic? And every series you tune in to see what they've done with the intro titles and what costume she'd be wearing, how the jumpsuit had changed. Oh, I just miss that programme so much. You should definitely bring it back because she's still like perfectly capable of doing it. She's on Hunted. She's on the last series of Celebrity Hunted. And she was awesome. But apparently she was like kind of bullied out of the public eye because people wouldn't leave her alone. The price of fame. I don't quite know why you'd want to be parked outside Annika Rice's house. She's hardly like, controversial figure, is she? But yeah. Yeah, it's really nice to see that you all remember it. Yep, the intro was a cartoon. The outtake with the plywood. Oh, yes! Oh, my God, yes! PLI wood. Ursulb says, I work in a college and some of the 17-ish-year-olds are into Edmund's Blobby and the Chuckle Brothers, and I have no idea if and how many layers of irony involved. Well, things come around in circles, don't they? Victoria Wood always says this, so we used to say this, that there's some things come round very, very, very quickly and other things take a while. And I think we're in the sort of, 25 years ago kind of cycle at the moment. Oh, hello. Lone Star says, how do I get the view count up? Watch your videos. Yes! That is exactly what you need to do. The thing is, I must stress that this might say that it's live, but it lies because the API only updates every 2 hours or something. I'm just sitting here doing this because I felt like it. And now it's turned into a Q&A stream and me talking about Challenge Annika. Oh, Interceptor. Yep, Interceptor. That was presented by Annabelle Croft. It was good, but he was a bit too serious. It's a bit like the first series of Ice Warriors. God, I loved that as well. Like Gladiators, but not on ice. And the first series was rubbish because... Well, it wasn't rubbish because it was on ice. Everything on ice is great. But he just took it like it wasn't the villain, I suppose, but the sort of guy who was supposed to be in charge took himself way too seriously. And then for the second series, they changed that and suddenly it was fun. But then somebody canned it. But somebody at ITV must love things on ice because they can't stop doing stuff on ice. Which is fine by me, but dancing on ice is tedious as hell. 2 bloody hours of people I've never heard of getting criticised by a bloke I don't care about on ice. And even the on ice bit didn't save it for me this series, I'm afraid. Interference. Bizarrely, a few months back, I think I spent several hours watching Challenge Annika on YouTube. It was oddly compelling. It's brilliant. It's great. Does anybody remember an utterly weird cyberpunk game show called Scavengers? I do as well. Yes, absolutely. And does anybody remember Time Busters? I think Christopher Biggins might have presented that. That was on a Sunday morning on BBC Two. Time Busters go. Theme tunes that stick in my head. But yeah, Scavengers. I think John Leslie was in a really weird costume as well. I'm going to have to look that up now. On the basis I have nothing else to do. Also, does anybody remember... there was a series with... No, Go-Getters. Go-Getters. Carol Vorderman, Timmy Mallet, where they had to go out in a little van and find things. What's happened to these programmes? They were great. Yeah, John Leslie in an ice hockey helmet. That is an ice hockey helmet painted grey. In fact, I'm not so sure that that's not body armour from paintballing or something. But there you go. Lone Star says, Jenny, since I like so many of your videos, here's a question for your Q&A. What series are you most proud of? Ooh, probably the first answer that comes to mind, despite the fact that I have probably forgotten most of what I've done, is Theme Hospital. I really enjoyed that, and I think I just enjoyed imitating the woman. Patients are asked to be patient, that sort of thing. Yeah, I did enjoy it, and the other thing I enjoyed about it actually was that it had a natural end, because doing open world games like Oblivion and that sort of thing are difficult because you don't really know what's going to happen next. And when I play those games for real and not on camera, it's probably quite obvious that I don't have any plan. I don't follow the script. I don't follow the plot. I just go, oh, a squirrel. And that causes massive problems with videos, because really videos should have some sort of plot arc. So Theme Hospital I'm really happy with. Other than that, I'm more than happy to admit, I mean, I quite like the early 7 Days to Die videos. They were fun. I tell you, my favourite one is the one where I ended up having to hide under a crate in the desert. That was amazing. And that massive bloater zombie came past me, and I was convinced I was gonna die, and that was it. I really enjoyed doing that. So yeah, it would be between Theme Hospital and 7 Days to Die, the early 7 Days to Die, I think. I mean, Oblivion is the obvious answer because it's what started all of this off. But Theme Hospital was great fun. I did enjoy it. I thought it would be a bit grindy because some of the levels take ages, but it wasn't. Too many things to take the mick out of in that. Urslop says, it was all name 3 bands beginning with D, and you could make anything up, and a big part of the game was trying to poker face your siblings into believing you. Sorry, what program are we talking about? Poker face your siblings into believing you? I think I may have missed something there. Old British game shows are ripe for video game adaptations. I'd play a multiplayer Crystal Maze. I would. The Crystal Maze game, I had that on the bloody Acorn something, RISC PC, A3000 something. And it looked great, and it had the right sound effects, but it was ultimately not very good. But yeah, it would be amazing if they do that. I tell you, I always wanted a Gladiators game. Like, desperately still want somebody to do a Gladiators game. I would pay good money for that. If I won the lottery, I would commission somebody to program a Gladiators game, because what a missed opportunity that was. Lone Star says 20 view counts coming up. Thank you. Thank you very much. By tomorrow morning, we might have got there. Urslop says there's a recentish convert. I'll have to go and watch the old 7 Days videos. Yeah, please do, because they're really quite funny. Also, that's when I started playing about with having like an opening bit of the video at the start of the video. It was very in fashion to do it back then, and I can't decide whether to start doing it again. So you get like a particularly dramatic bit of the video, a particularly funny bit, and then you do a little title like slate, and then you start the video properly. And that's easy to do. It's just I don't know whether it makes any difference. So if you want to see that, we'll start doing that again. Lone Star says, I've been watching you since your NHL 95 sub video in 2012. We're just talking about that. I loved your Oblivion series. Your obsession with food is awesome. I've been a sub for a long time. Well, thank you very much. That's said with no facetiousness at all. I genuinely appreciate every single person who watches anything that I do, because I still can't believe I'm at 1 million views. What is that about? What is that about? It's crazy. I'll probably talk about this in another video, but as you hear, I only started doing this to see whether I could do it, to actually see whether it was possible for me to set up using the technology that I had to start making videos and whether I'd be any good at it. And I got my first 1,000 subscribers relatively quickly. And I was stunned. I just went, what's this about? And then just as I was about to hit 2,000, Gopher Gaming got hold of my videos. In fact, I must contact him about the million thing. And it went up to 3,000. And it's been an uphill struggle ever since. But it's just crazy. It's madness. This isn't my job. Anybody who thinks that this makes me more than 6p a day is sadly mistaken. But yeah, it's great fun. David says, why doesn't the view count tick over when people join? Because this doesn't work like that. That number might not shift at all this evening, unfortunately. It's not like the subscriber count where it's actually in real time. YouTube does not update views very often at all. And I am only doing this on the off chance that it rolls over. But we've ended up here doing a random Q&A video, which I didn't intend. It says, I'm a huge fan of the SimCity videos. Thank you. Oh, SimCity! Oh, that was good as well. Because of all the giant food and the various other ridiculous things that used to happen in it. I actually enjoyed playing SimCity 4. It just sort of petered out. The music in that was terrific. But yeah, SimCity 5, I did that string of videos about how it wouldn't work and I couldn't connect to the servers. And then we played it and everybody loved it. That was back in the days when YouTube actually allowed you to do shows that had series. So it was like the SimCity show, Series 1, Series 2, Series 3. They don't do that anymore. I don't really know why not. You'd think that everything would have gone that way, but I just don't understand YouTube at all. I just don't get it. They keep persistently changing things for the worse. Somebody must have to justify their existence, that's all I can say. But yeah, awful. Stephen Marquez says, sing! You've missed it. I sang the theme tune from Challenge Annika. Turn up earlier. I no doubt will burst into song again at some point. The singing thing is weird, isn't it? Neutrino, hello to you. Said, I subscribed after seeing Digitizer. Excellent. I actually lost some subscribers today, in fact, because I was getting near 5,600 and YouTube went, you're not having those. I suppose it's also entirely possible that people went, who the bloody hell's Jennyverse? And just unsubscribed. Challenge Jenny. If only. Somebody get me a helicopter. Challenge Jenny. Challenge Jennyverse. There's a thought. Sort of FedEx quests, but live, or not live, because that would be extremely dangerous, but at least in real time. Interesting. Russell asks, what will the new end sound be like? Don't know, probably my stomach rumbling. I haven't got a clue. That Gameplay Jenny, ooh yeah, jingle was done by a woman also called Jenny, weirdly, who I found on Fiverr, because Fiverr used to be, you know, a Fiverr, and I had no money to do this, and monetisation wasn't a thing back then, and Patreon didn't exist. And I contacted a lot of people, so somebody did my end graphics, and somebody did my logo, and all the rest of it. Got the whole lot for about 30 quid or something. And she came up with that. It was just unbelievable. And the whistle was an accident. She doesn't know where the whistle came from. It just appeared on the track, and it's kind of the hook, which is really strange. It all, just happened. And then she did the highlights video. When she came to do the highlights out video, I've not done highlights videos in a long time, but we used to have a highlights video thing. And she tried to recreate it. She just couldn't. It was just one of those one-time only things. So yeah, she did a slightly different harmony, and then I suggested the clown horn at the end. But highlights videos, God, they were a thing on YouTube as well, weren't they? Get a bit of extra money, a few extra views by doing highlights of things that you'd done. I might start that again. I don't get any views. I might start that again. Russell's found a helicopter. Thank you for that. Ursulov suggested a tiny moped. tiny moped. Jumpsuits and a camera operator, says David. Yeah, jumpsuits and a camera operator. I'm not sure who would do that. But that's doable, isn't it? William, what's that? That looks like a sad face on a motorbike. Ursula's decided that the sound at the end of the video should be Tom Baker going, Jennyverse. Or Brian Blessed, to the Jennyverse. Oh, I've got another question from Lone Star, who's taking this seriously. Do you ever plan on doing a vlog series where you finally show your face? Yep. Yep, to some extent. I've always been a bit reticent to show my face for a number of reasons. But I do think that food videos with me actually on camera eating are a definite possibility. As I say, I was thinking about doing one of those next week, potentially. Just to see what happened. But, yeah, I don't know. These things just happen with me. You'll also notice there's a reason why I don't stick to a schedule, partly because I can't, because my health doesn't allow me to, and partly because I just don't care. I just go, I'll just do this now, which is why we're here tonight. Let's have a look. Lone Star says Tobuscus did that a lot back in the day with his Amnesia series. What, the highlights thing? He did, but they were so funny. He's the reason why I started doing this, believe it or not. And I used to do that video reply thing, so I'd spam his videos with my videos, and I think that's how I got about half of my subscribers, if not more. It was a sleepy face and a motorbike. I'm not fully sure why I'd be half asleep on a motorbike, but I imagine that's entirely possible. David says, I think that the fact that you're not on camera is rather charming and a teeny bit retro. I like the radio feeling of it, because I think that radio is funnier than TV generally. Sorry, just have to excuse me for a moment. I've just discovered I've got something in my... What on earth is that? Sorry about that. I've got some savoury snack stuck on the bottom of my sock. But anyway. Yeah, I just like the voice thing. It was like funny, but that's what Toby Turner used to do, and then he introduced face cam, so everybody else started saying to me, oh, you're going to do face cam, but it takes something out of it for me. I really enjoyed the videos that he did, where you have to imagine his reactions, you have to imagine what was going on, because it was just so ridiculous. And I like that. So I think in the gaming videos, I wouldn't go on camera for that. But the food videos, sometimes I really want to show things properly. And I think you get quite a lot of dead air on food videos if you're not actually on camera. Nothing's stopping me trying. Nothing's stopping me trying. If it's suddenly wildly popular, then obviously I might do it. But no, I will do it. But yeah, there's something about the gaming and radio thing. I like the fact, actually, that you can essentially not even have to watch my videos. I think you can just listen to them and they kind of play out as a narrative themselves. That's why I try not to leave too much dead air, because it's a bit like turning a radio on in a corner, and I like that idea. Anyway. Lone Star says, I only ask because another YouTuber who I've been following for many years just recently did that. Did what? Oh, Manga Minx. God, wow, that takes me back as well. I often wish that I'd started at the same time as her, because women were like a valuable commodity on YouTube back then. I think I'd have done a lot better if I'd started a couple of years earlier. But yeah, no, there won't be a vlogging series, I'm afraid. I'm just not that kind of person. But the food videos, I think, is probably a thing. Urslorp, do you enjoy, or do you still find the time to enjoy gaming outside of the videos? Yes. Yep. I do, not as much as I would perhaps like to. But time is a thing, isn't it? Unfortunately, I say I have a day job, and that's what brings the money in. And ultimately, if it's a choice between making a video to keep YouTube happy and playing a game for myself, unfortunately, YouTube wins. I say keeping YouTube happy, obviously you lot having something to watch as well, but YouTube doesn't like it if you go away. And so I prefer to try to do things. I tend to play, like, I'll keep the odd building type game for myself. And I tell you what I have been playing. You Must Build a Boat. That weird match 3 game. It's like a cross between a runner and a match 3 game and a turn-based fighting thing. I managed to complete the... was it called 10 Million? And I nearly did that on camera, and I was like, no, actually, I just want to do this. Because it requires a lot of concentration. And then I bought You Must Build a Boat, and I've now got through that 3 times. Very proud of myself. England was... Did I have a spaghetti hoop stuck to my sock? No, I don't know what that is. Weirdly enough, it looks like a bit of barbecue smokehouse crunch, but I haven't had any recently, so I'm not quite sure what that is. Might be... looks too tough to be a Pringle. Honestly, not sure. But anyway. Oh, hello, Mysnosis. I hope I've pronounced that right. I listen to your hospital videos quite often at night, and indeed I fall asleep in a good way. Yeah, a number of people say that. Seriously thinking of doing some sort of like sleep induction video or something. I once did a live stream with a friend of mine where I read a story. Like, I just got a children's book out and just started reading it, and I can't believe how popular that was. So perhaps we should have Jenny's bedtime story time. Urslorp says there's a weird paradigm with YouTube and Twitch where the passion is what makes them a success. And then by the time it's a regular sort of thing, it just becomes content providing. Yeah, exactly. And I think I actually ended up just losing the plot with it for a while. And this rebrand has definitely made me feel like things have moved on a bit. So I'll just have to see how that goes, because my brain will have to catch up. David says, you have a great voice for radio, thank you very much. I do actually have a radio show. It's only on a tiny little internet radio station called Reclaim Radio. But, yeah, admittedly it doesn't have much of me talking on it. But maybe that should be a thing as well. Maybe I should do a bit more talking on my radio show. Because technically you can ring into the station. I just don't give people the opportunity to do that. If you want to hear me mix music, then you need to go to Reclaimed Radio. There's a Mixcloud as well, so you can hear everything I've done for the last 9 months or so. William Trelane asks, which do you prefer, working with the YouTube videos or the work you do for radio? Also, your voice is really calming to the soul. Oh, that's a lovely thing to say. Thank you very much. Which do I prefer? YouTube, probably. That's a difficult one, because I think if I could do my radio show on YouTube and not get a horrific strike for it, that would be the best of both worlds. But, I mean, ultimately, I feel like I'm returning to being a child at the moment. I keep thinking, oh, I really wanted to do this as a kid. Maybe I could do it now. And one of those things was broadcaster. And this, I suppose, is my outlet for that. But it would be quite nice to... I don't know, sort of tempted by hospital radio, although I gather it's an extremely horrifically political environment. Or something, I don't know. But the reason I pause is because I love the music mixing stuff more than I thought I would. And it turns out I'm quite good at it. And I can't do that on YouTube. But there's a lot of things that I can do on YouTube that I can't do on the radio. And what I like is the mix of the two, which is a real cop-out answer. But... yeah, both of them have interesting bits. Maybe I need to make the radio bit more interesting as well. Everybody keeps saying ASMR, ASMR, ASMR. That's weird. Seriously, weird. I can understand you sort of... I don't mean you personally, but people finding certain things make you go a bit shivery, because they do sometimes. But the whole, like... you're at the dentist, or you're at the doctor, or all of that kind of thing. I can't do that. That's creepy as hell, man. That's like seriously weird. Just no. Bedtime stories in Finnish? I hate to tell you this, but I'd have to learn to speak Finnish first. And I had a go at Hungarian once, and that didn't end well. Urslorp says, I do enjoy that here is not about the latest hype games. Yes. Even when it was. I mean, I played Skyrim on release day, I seem to think, and Fallout 4 and one or two other things, and it never helps. I remember when Skyrim came out, everybody said, oh my god, your channel's going to explode. And it didn't at all. So I just play what I want. I play anything that I think is going to be entertaining, mostly for me, but also possibly for other people. David says, can I just say that one of the very best things about your videos is that they don't begin with the phrase, hi guys! They can if you want. Is that what everybody does now? Hi guys. I always thought it was what's up or something, but I'm not down with the kids because I don't watch people who do that. No, it wasn't. Was it what's up? No, there was another one. There's another introduction that everybody was using, and I refused categorically to use. If you can remember what it is, then please do let me know. William Trelane says DJ Genius mixing the music. I read that as mincing the music. How dare you? That's it. Yeah, DJ Genius, DJ Jen, DGen, Jen. Just make it shorter and shorter. Hey, you guys. Do you know? I don't know that it is. I don't know whether it is. Hey, you guys. There is just another intro that drives me bloody berserk, and I hate it. Interference asks, what is the most recent game you've given a go? I've spent the last couple of weeks playing Resident Evil 2 Remake and Far Cry New Dawn. The most recent game I've given a go. Christ, now you're asking. I haven't got a clue. Genuinely, what is the most recent game? It'll be something really stupid though, that's the thing. It won't be a big game. I never buy big games. Rarely buy big games. I can't think of anything. Because even games I think I knew, it turns out, like, came out in 2014. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know, like FIFA 18 or something. I just don't bother. I think it probably was. I think it was last year's FIFA. During the World Cup. Everybody's going, it's what's up, guys? Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it is what's up, guys. But it's said in a very particular way, isn't it? What's up, guys? It's just like, nah, just no. Just no. ZX Becky said, I would like my hands on Metro Exodus. Hope that's not a euphemism for something. David said, I love the welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, do you know what? Actually, I did, and sometimes I say it and I have to edit it back out. And the reason is that ladies and gentlemen is a bit politically incorrect these days. So now it's welcome to you all. But yeah, I used to like that as well. Just have to be socially conscious. Neutrino says, that hospital game you've been playing is recent. That's a point. Yeah, 2 Point Hospital. You're absolutely right. I did buy that on the day that it came out. In fact, I think I pre-ordered it because I got a voucher for it. Like 25% off or something. So yeah, 2 Point Hospital. ZX Becky says, I'm playing the most hated game of 2018. Most hated game. What was that? What on earth was the most hated game of 2018? I can't remember. I don't know. What would it have been? I don't know what that was. No, I can't think. Never mind, eh? It'll come to me, I'm sure. You see, the thing is, I know this will disappoint many of you, but I'm kind of not really a gamer. I play games, but I'm not into the culture of it all. I'm certainly not into the YouTube culture of it all. Fallout 76, of course. Of course. But yeah, just me, I think. I just can't embed myself in that culture or surround myself with that culture, not least because of What's Up Guys and all the stupid drama crap. I just can't do it, which is a terrible shame, because the chap who's done my channel trailer, Pete, he's done that and it's really working for him. But then Pete's brilliant in his own way. He's kind of using it to his advantage, whereas I would just sound ridiculous if I started getting into all of that. I think it's a shame. I think that if YouTube had carried on giving me exposure in the way that the old pre-Google YouTube used to do, that's easy for me to say, I'd be bigger now. I think the channel would be bigger. But that organic growth doesn't happen anymore. There's an awful lot of very not organic culling. But yeah, there's just that you just don't. It's just does not the same environment anymore. I hate playing algorithms. I hate feeling like I have to do things. I hate the expectation, and I like all of you for that. That there's no expectation. It's moved. It's moved. Did everybody see that? It's moved. 55 minutes in, and it didn't move to 1 million. Wow. So what? That's updating about once an hour, something like that. Wow, we're going to be here a long time. And then YouTube will probably take a load of views back off me because that's not unheard of. But it moved. There we go. Proof of concept. It is kind of live. That's exciting. 999896 hype. But anyway, God, those were the days. Those were the days. What was I talking about? I can't remember. Oh yeah, not doing this very well. But yeah, it's just not me. And that's the problem. Sorry, I just need to squish a bug here. Oh, it's gone. Yeah. But I think that if I'd got more natural exposure from a non-biased algorithm, and indeed if Maker Studios hadn't dumped me as a result of YouTube's horribly biased algorithm, I'd be doing a lot better now. Because nobody knows this, very few people know this, but yeah, I used to be signed up to Maker Studios, part of RPM Network, part of Disney. And when they let loads of us go because they decided they could only afford to focus on their big stars, and they literally culled everybody bar about 20 or 200 I think it was. That was kind of it. I had a mentor, and she was brilliant. And unfortunately, that all fell apart. They gave me a replacement for a while. She was terrible. She never contacted me. So yeah, all a bit of a shame. But I'm getting behind with the chat now because I'm lamenting. So, William asks, did you have a game which connected with you on an emotional level? Morrowind connects with me on an emotional level. I don't know why. There's something about walking around with that music in that environment that really it is great. On a personal emotional level, if I'm honest, I can't really think of anything. I'm trying to think, have I ever cried at a computer game or got really angry other than with bad game mechanics? If I ever have, I genuinely can't remember what it would have been. I've got games where I have a kind of emotional connection to the time that they came out, but that's not what you're asking. I'll have a think about that one. Because Morrowind is the only one that I can really think of particularly. And I think maybe that's more about the atmosphere than anything. I don't know. But, yeah, that's an interesting question. If I do think of any, we might play through one. But anyway. Miss Gnosis says, is the fact that you don't know Finnish, that would make bedtime... the fact you don't know Finnish would make bedtime stories hilarious. Or completely incomprehensible. One or the other. William says, I like it that you want a typical gaming channel. You're also intellectual nourishment. Are you sure? Intellectual nourishment. See, that would have been a fantastic channel name. Why didn't you give me that one 4 days ago? Oh my god, I might even have to think of something, like a video I can call that. Here is some intellectual nourishment. Maybe I'll call my food video that. If I do a mukbang, maybe we'll call it intellectual nourishment. Has anybody come up with that yet? Do I need to trademark that? Intellectual nourishment. It turns out somebody's done a series of videos called Intellectual Nourishment. I'm going to be really, really angry. Really angry. Do you know, I don't think they have. I think you might have come up with something there. So haven't. Well. Whew. Fantastic. David says, soaring up by 4 views. Yep. This is YouTube. It's probably working out right about now how to stop me getting to that 1 million. Because it stops me every single milestone. Every last one. If I'm going to hit one, something will happen and that will start going down. Or I'll suddenly lose 50 subscribers. Or something. there is no acceptance by YouTube that this channel actually has people watching it. And that's really frustrating. William says, Walt Disney banished Jenny. Boo! Boo, Mickey Mouse. Boo! Absolutely. Didn't like Disney anyway, particularly, but yeah, boo. ZX Becky says, Jenny is awesome. Thank you very much. William Trelane says, 2 games which made me really emotional was Link's Awakening on the Game Boy and Mother 3. I don't know that one. I mean, I think that's fairly indicative of how amazing a Nintendo game is if it's emotionally grabbing you on the Game Boy. It's bizarre, isn't it, when you think about it? Urslob says, I'm assuming we're talking about intellectual nourishment here. It sounds like an awful MRA snake oil supplement that you rub into your brain. Rub this intellectual nourishment into your brains. Son of Fitch says, have you ever considered doing some sort of edited pre-recorded videos similar to what Biffo is producing? Yeah, about food. Absolutely. Yeah, totally. I actually even set up, I mean, we're talking months ago, I actually set up like a table and then never did anything about it, which is why I need to really sort out a sort of studio-y thing. But yeah, completely. I also would quite like to do one about the whole Miracle Morning stuff, because that's not going too well. And I remember years ago nearly doing a video about Alton Towers, but we didn't get enough footage to bother. But yeah, absolutely. It's just time and commitment. Because I don't have a massive amount of time and my commitment wavers. It's quite variable. What I'd quite like to do is something like Only in Japan does. There's a fantastic channel called Only in Japan. I would strongly advise you to go and subscribe to it. He only puts a video out every month or something, but they are so well done. I think he must be a professional director, or at the very least have had serious experience in it, because he focuses in on a particular part of Japanese culture, and I got watching him because, for reasons best known to me at the time, I'd got addicted to watching videos about vending machines, and I came across him, and he's just utterly fantastic. But he takes his time over them, and that's something I can see myself doing. I've actually got various plans and things, and I've had these plans over the years, but they've been rudely interrupted by health, and the health thing is a problem. You know, it is a problem. It's not an excuse. It is an issue. And I even a few years ago, about 5 years ago now, had the idea of doing a sort of radio show, but on YouTube, and even had logos designed and got artists lined up to appear and had my first show mapped out, and then was flattened by another head injury, and that was the end of that, because you're never quite back to where you were before. So yeah, it's just one of those things, I'm afraid. I started a new job a couple of months ago, so you know there's quite a lot of thought goes into that, and because I have these migraines, sorry, I shouldn't call them migraines. I get told off by my consultant for calling them that. Migraine is a condition, it's not a thing. Yeah, it just flattens me, and I never know when the next one's coming, and sometimes I can go 3 or 4 weeks without wanting to do anything at all, because I'm a bit dizzy, or whatever. It's just, yeah. What can I say? So, it's just one of those things. Mysnosis says, if you could mash up some favourite games, what would the most awesome game be? I would love a hospital game combined with the Bus Driver and Cooking Academy. Yeah, it'd be quite entertaining to have some sort of like food delivery type game. There's all sorts of bits of games I'd love to mash up, because I find quite a lot of the theme park management-y type games now are not management-y enough. So I'd want some sort of really deep stats game with a fun graphical thing over the top of it. I'm talking about games like, does anybody remember Ultimate Soccer Manager? We're talking 20 years ago now. Ultimate Soccer Manager, where you got a graphical stadium with little people walking around it, and you could see individual bits and whatnot, but behind it was like a proper football management game. I miss stuff like that. They don't seem to do it anymore. So what would it be? God. I suppose it would be something like Cook Serve Delicious, but crossed with a proper business management strategy game kind of thing. But then you have to actually cook the food. Maybe that already exists. But then you have to cook the food, and then you have to deliver the food. Now there's a thought. That combines all three. So you've got a management game, and then you've got to cook the food, and you've got to deliver it. So it's like a management game and a driving game and a food game all in one. There we go. Someone Fitch says my girlfriend is massively into vending machines. What, literally in a vending machine? And gashapon, yeah, gashapon are weird, aren't they? Says she, who is very sad about the fact that I think I've missed the McDonald's Lego Benny toy. I just love that. Did that come out last week? I don't know, but if it did, then I've missed it. I have to get it off eBay. Food delivery battle royale. Advanced NHS food simulator. Yes, there it is. Advanced NHS food simulator. Love it. Russell's got to leave. Says, I hope you get to 1 million today. Thank you very much. GTA celebrity chef. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's so many game mechanics I'd love to throw all together, but it'd be a bit like, you know when Homer designs a car? Remember that episode? That's what my game would turn out like. And the games developer would go bust, and that would be the end of that. They'd end out on the street. But yeah, Advanced NHS Food Simulator. I tell you what would be a really good game. One of you plays the hospital bit, and one of you plays the logisticsy foodie bit, and one of you plays whatever, I don't know. Perhaps one of you does the... Whoa! In the middle of a fantastic idea from me. Thank you, Al! He's given me £10 to celebrate the 1 million and Jennyverse. Thank you very, very much indeed. Al is a huge supporter of this channel, and it's very much appreciated because obviously the electricity for this nonsense does not pay for itself. So thank you. I hope you haven't got to shoot off, because often you just drop in and then disappear again. And that would be a real shame if you had to do that. But thank you. That is great. Your name apparently is going to appear in bold at the top of the chat. What was I saying? Yeah, so somebody runs the hospital, and somebody runs the kitchen, and somebody runs like Euro Truck Simulator, like the logistics element of it. And maybe somebody builds the city that the hospital is in. I think I've just designed the computer game of the future. You're welcome. And somehow it uses blockchain. I don't know how. All the future things have blockchain in them, don't they? Oh, that's a great idea, though. That's brilliant, Jenny. It's utterly brilliant. Copyright, all rights reserved. Bloody brilliant. Anyway, Interference says, I still crave for a proper space exploration game. Like being captain of the Enterprise with a greater focus of the inside of the ship and the crew, rather than drifting about and shooting. Oh yeah, I agree, actually. I do agree. I think that would be good. Oh, hello, Duds. He says, this is like VR Diner Duo, but with more people. Urslop says, are there any massively multiplayer online role-playing games that involve that sort of shared universe thing? Don't know. Maybe. Don't play them, they annoy me. Wish they'd make a TV station management game. Yep, Mad TV was certainly made. Then there was Empire TV, but that was more of a logic game than a management game. I've got one on the shelf behind me. Sorry, just for a moment. I'm just going to see if I can find it. I've got one. Oh, there it is. TV Giant. Let me just go and get the thing for TV Giant. I don't even remember buying this. Are you bored of channel hopping? Create your own TV channel. Who hasn't dreamed of living the life of sequins, bright lights and cheering studio audiences? In TV Giant, you too can become the boss of a major TV channel. You choose the programmes, star presenters, primetime viewing and advertising. The challenge doesn't stop here. You'll also have to face up to merciless competition, where only the viewing figures decide who wins. Well, there you go. How on earth has that been sitting on my shelf all this time? and I had forgotten I'd even bought it. The producers of this are RTL Entertainment, who do those winter sports games. Interesting. That is interesting. I wonder whether that would stream. RTL. If you've not watched like the winter sports, winter challenge type games, Feel the Spirit, I think it was called. RTL produced those and they are actually quite funny. That's really interesting. I will have to look into that. The thing about Mad TV and Empire TV, because I think Empire TV might have been a remake of Mad TV, is they're not management games ultimately. They're sort of, let's say, they're more of a logic puzzle than anything. So it's probably not quite what you're after. David suggests Star Trek annual performance review. Star Trek Space Accountant Simulator. I think maybe we're taking this a little bit too far. But yeah, I do miss management games that were proper management games, but with a slightly wry sense of humour. Football management games are like that as well. On the Ball 2, Club Manager, that sort of thing. Let's say Ultimate Soccer Manager, Premier Manager, the old ones. Just things have just lost their organicness. I don't know. Oh, hello, Jim. It says Star Trek, the next HR manager. Oh, and hello, Old Mopar. Old Mopar? Have you ever played any of the old Command & Conquer and Red Alert games? Not really my bag. I don't really do war games unless they're really, really, really silly. So, no. I suspect the last war type game I played might have been... I did like one video for World of Warplanes, in which I was dreadful because I got money for it back in the day when you used to get money for doing things. Yeah, I got a few dollars for doing that. Al's dollars have just fallen off at the top of the chat. Before that, it was probably like Cannon Fodder or something. I just don't really play them. Son of Fish says, I got completely addicted to Football Manager for many years. It's very flat, but at the same time, it's insanely in-depth and addictive once you get into it. Yeah, me too. I've got like some utterly preposterous number of hours logged in the 2012 version. I find the user interface is just too confusing now. There's an ice hockey version of it, which I technically love, but it's not deep enough. For some reason, it doesn't have the depth of the Football Manager ones. I think they just don't have the time to do it. But ice hockey, you know, yeah, if they could do an ice hockey version of Football Manager properly, I'd probably be happy as Larry, but then I'd probably never make a video again because I'd spend all day and night playing it. When I didn't have the internet, when YouTube wasn't a thing, that's what I used to do. I used to absolutely love getting home from work and playing those sorts of games late into the night. But life changes, doesn't it? Sad violins. Yeah, a lot of games these days are just not really all that bothered about. I know it sounds awful, but I'm just not. I'm just not. I think it's probably because, given half a chance, I would just play management games all the time. I even did a series, some of you might remember, Jenny Barely Manages, it was called. What did I run? SeaWorld? Football team? I can't remember. I'll have to look that up because I can't remember what they were. But management games do not really come across very well on video unless they have a particularly spectacular front end. There we go. Jenny Barely Manages Legoland, SeaWorld, a football club, a Formula 1 team, and a games company, which was Game Dev Tycoon, which actually turned into a series because everybody really enjoyed it. SeaWorld was great. The music sounds great. And Legoland was just a bit of a laugh. And then at Halloween this year, I did like running a ghost busting company. But I did not really know what I was doing with it because I didn't bother to find out properly. Oh, there we go. Al's got to go. Oh no. Well, thank you very much for your support, sir. And I hope to see you at whenever my next stream is. Or at least you can watch the replay of it. everybody, bye. Son of Fitch says Mustafa Metin was my proudest achievement, a 19 speed and 19 acceleration winger who ended up an England legend. It's funny how they stay in your head, isn't it? Mine was a guy called Fang Shukun, when I was managing a Malaysian university team, and he was just legendary. And eventually he came back as my assistant manager, and he left because he wasn't very happy. But yeah, they just stick in your head, don't they, if you've raised them yourself. You see, I like things like that. I like developing youth players and building up little teams from nothing. I once got Northwich Victoria into the Premier League. I think that was in Premier Manager 3. In fact, it was, because our attendance didn't match, and so we just went broke. But anyway, I also managed to get Stockport County closed down once because I bought loads of players that I shouldn't have done. Well, the board should never have let me do it. What's my favourite hockey teams? Oh, God, help me. Oh, Florida Panthers is my NHL team. And I have loads of second teams. Technically, it should be Toronto, but I like Minnesota, and I like Vegas. Everybody likes Vegas. And St. Louis. In Britain, it is Telford Tigers in the National League. No, Premier League. What are they called now? Whatever the second tier is. What do they call it now? It's National League. And Manchester Storm in the Elite League, because I used to go and see them play when they played out of the Manchester Evening News Arena, and 17,000 people used to show up, and I miss those days. Lone Star says, fun fact, I used to work at Legoland. What? Really? You used to work at Legoland? Why are you not still working at Legoland? That's amazing. Please tell me you were in a costume. Perhaps in one of the suits. Son of Fitch says I got non-league Kettering Town into the championship. See, it's that kind of thing that I like. William, meanwhile, supports all the teams I hate. Pittsburgh Penguins, boo. The Sharks I like. In fact, I've actually got 2 Sharks jerseys that I bought in a moment of madness a few years ago that I need to sell. Leafs we can agree on. Solihull Barons? Oh, do you know what happened last year? I went to see Telford play Solihull on the Christmas fixture. And Solihull's goalkeeper got ejected for bashing my favourite player over the head. And they wouldn't come up with another goalkeeper and forfeited the game. And we all had to go home early. So I don't like Solihull. I didn't like them anyway. But now I really don't like them. Mysnosis says, what is your favourite Finnish hockey team? It is... Oh, I've got to remember the... God, I really hope they're in Finland. I'm just going to look this up because I just need to make sure that they are definitely in Finland. Yes. How do you pronounce this? Is it Jokerit? Jokerit? Jokerit. Helsingin Jokerit with the jester. It just makes me laugh. And also one of the Manchester players went to play there once, I think. So I followed them for a while. But yeah, it's them. But I do also like the fact that you have a team that I call Cowpat. And it's not Cowpat, is it? I think it's Carpat or something. But I don't really watch Finnish hockey very much, I'm sorry to say. I should do. I don't think it's on Free Sports, though. Lone Star, meanwhile, in the Legoland saga, says it was a summer job after high school in 2004. I operated the rides and had to be silly and give long-winded safety speeches. You had to be silly and give long-winded safety... What, at the same time? Because I don't know whether you can be silly giving a long-winded safety speech. I mean, that sounds very irresponsible. Did you have to give the speech and then be silly? I'm intrigued. Mopar asks, do you own any of the Sierra adventure games like Space Quest? No. I have Phantasmagoria 2, which would not make for a great video. Forever taking the mick out of that. No, I never had any of those, because did they do like King's Quest and Space Quest and Leisure Suit Larry and Phantasmagoria and that kind of thing? But no, I don't have them. God, that takes me back. That's just made a shiver run down my spine. Mid-90s. Something about the mid-90s, isn't there? And I remember a bit earlier than that, about 91, 92, going to see some friends in Canada and playing games on their computer, which was better than ours. And there were adverts for King's Quest and Space Quest and that sort of thing. can't remember what we were actually playing. It wasn't those games, but oh, that's just taken me right back. Whew. Woof. I should play those Star Trek point-and-click games. I doubt it. Meanwhile, in the Legoland experience continues, you had to be serious in a funny way. Long-winded speeches mostly for the parents so they wouldn't sue us, but silly to keep the kids happy. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your safety person speaking, that kind of thing. I won't be working at Legoland anytime soon. I get what you mean, though. I do get what you mean. It's just intriguing. It's just intriguing. I don't know how long we're going to stay here, by the way, because that is not going to roll over again. I think we'd have to come back in about an hour, and I don't intend to be here in an hour. Meanwhile, Dud says, I'm still on this Sierra mailing list. Today is... hang on a minute. There's a Sierra mailing list. Today is the 20th anniversary of when they closed the studio. Who's running it? Are they ghosts? Who's running the Sierra mailing list? Chainsaw Monday, they call it. Well, there we go. 20th anniversary of them closing the studio. That's scary, isn't it? Wow. Whatever happened to the people who worked there? Did they go to other places? That's just weird, isn't it? Did they then go into... did they do massively multiplayer games or something? I don't know. Might be misremembering. But yeah, that's really intriguing. I'm just looking up a list of Sierra games to see what their last release was. God, they made a lot of games. Bloody hell. Well, according to this, the last game was in 2015. What? King's Quest 2015. Did they reform? Did they come back for a final tour? Because the sort of era that I'm thinking about... Caesar, You Don't Know Jack, Shivers, Eat My Dust, Leisure Suit Larry, Phantasmagoria, 3D Ultra Pinball, 3D Ultra Mini Golf. They did loads of sports games. I didn't actually realise that. Just trying to see. Oh, Gabriel Knight. Police Quest SWAT. Oh, it's all very exciting. NASCAR. They did baseball games. Grand Prix. Yeah. Well, there we go. The founders retired with all the money. This message is held for review. That's okay, you can show that message. SierraGamers.com. This site is maintained by Ken Williams, founder of Sierra Online, and its CEO from 1979 to 1996. In 1996, the company was sold. Roberta decided to retire. We divide our time between Seattle, Mexico and France, playing golf. Other than this website, I haven't thought about Sierra or computer games for a long time. That's a shame. Because it must have been such a big thing. Such a shame. Anyway, you can all go and look at that link. You can all go and look at that link if you want to. Obviously, I'm not ordering you to go and look at the link. They were resurrected as a name. Wasn't everything? I remember doing an article for a magazine once about resurrected names like Commodore and Acorn and all of these, and they weren't anything to do with the original companies, and they failed miserably. But yeah, just I don't know. They were golden games. It was a golden era, and now we're all sitting here on YouTube watching a number that's never going to shift. That's kind of how this has gone. It's all gone a bit crappy, hasn't it, really? It's a bit strange. Incidentally, did I restart this stream 3 times? Because YouTube seems to think that I did. which is complete bloody rubbish. Also, somebody keeps putting thumbs down on things. I think I've annoyed somebody. I annoyed somebody with my first 7 Days to Die video. He really, really, really hated it. And I really, really, really didn't care. So if it's him coming back, giving me thumbs down on things, whatever. Meanwhile, we're back on ice hockey. The O is pronounced as a short O, as in dog. Jokerit. Jokerit? Is it Jokerit? Helsinki Jokerit. I have various teams all over the world that I drop in on. Vienna Capitals, quite like them. Jokerit. Couldn't tell you who played for any of them. That's another thing. I just don't have the knowledge anymore. I'm just intrigued as to why YouTube has done what it's done. I know I restarted once. That's really strange. YouTube is just odd. William says, "You aren't crappy, Jenny. You're the greatest and we love you for it. Thank you." Thank you very much. There's always one... I mean, to be honest with you, I don't care. just don't care. It takes quite a lot for me to put a thumbs down on a YouTube video, though. Like, it would have to be either so horrifically poorly made that it was almost incomprehensible, or it would have to be offensive. Maybe somebody was searching for voiceover Pete and found that instead. Although he's in it. So from that perspective... Got 206 views on that now, which is more than my video about Chuck Quiche. The last episode of Stardew Valley did bizarrely well for me. And then, as I say, I had a little peek with the first episode of 7 Days to Die and the Lego Movie 2 stickers and a video about snow. And why is it with the crisp videos, the Pringles did better than all the others? It's very odd. It's very strange. Did you hear the story about the Pokemon videos being taken down because the title dared to contain the initials CP for combat power? Honestly, just really, what are you going to do? Just ban every video with the letters C and P in the title? It's just odd as hell. It really is. Algorithms. I work in that area, and just seriously, I don't write them. I criticise them, and yeah, it's just very strange. Miss Gnosis says, Jenny, on Marleman Paris YouTube tarty, Yarakastama Harnestar. That might have said my suitcases are in the gazebo. William says, I went off voiceover Pete when he went meme crazy. As I say, he's playing it to his advantage. I thought the Pete for President video was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. I really did. I think he's going meme crazy because he knows it's got a shelf life. But the one of him lying by the lake and the one of him starting his presidential campaign, I thought were great. I mean, don't get me wrong, I must admit, I'm not into any of that, and I don't like the people he promotes, which is a bit of a shame. I just don't like PewDiePie or any of those, really, but equally, he now promotes me. So, he's clearly a man of many tastes. Opar says, one of my favourite games when I was a kid in the 80s was Sentinel Worlds. I've been searching for it for years and still no luck. Have you tried... sorry, I'm about to patronise you here. You tried, like, Home of the Underdogs. Home of the Underdogs. Bit of live searching here. If it's still up. Is it still up? It is still up. I don't know why I'm even doing this, because I'm sure that you will have done this already. But you never know. Sentinel Worlds 1 Future Magic. Is that what we're talking about here? Where to get it? Oh dear. No, it just says search. That's not good, is it? That's a pity. But yeah, I don't know why I even bothered doing that, because I'm sure you already know about it. Sorry, I've lost track with the chat now. Namco's hello to you says those Prosecco Pringles. No, it's not the Prosecco ones. No, it's the wedge ones, the salt and pepper wedge ones, which were really good. I've never found any since. But no, people for some reason liked that video. Then David says, "Let it go, Jenny. Let it go. Let what go? What have I been complaining about? PewDiePie, probably." Then oh god, there's loads of chat. Hang on. Wait until they start banning letters of the alphabet. Absolutely. Then Namcos says, yeah, still not the greatest. Nothing beats barbecue. Do you know, I used to really like the barbecue ones. They were like my favourite, and then I got into other flavours and I went off the others. William says, I didn't know that the ghost of Mary Whitehouse works at YouTube. She'd have more sense, frankly. Neutrino, in a moment of excitement here, said to old Mo that he's seen Sentinel Worlds on eBay for $19. Jim says he's not sure about how he feels about 7 Days to Die. He went in blind, hit the 7th night well after bedtime and was suitably freaked out. 7 Days to Die is about the only game that has scared the living daylights out of me. We're talking older versions now, but when I think a friend of mine either bought it for me or was there when I downloaded it, and he'd already taught himself how to play it, and I wish I had recorded my reaction, because I looked up and saw one of those zombies and I had no idea what I was doing, and I was just going, tell me what I need to do, oh my god, what am I doing? It was really, really funny. So yeah, it really did scare me. And then there was one alpha where the zombies were genuinely terrifying. They had genuinely terrifying faces. It might have been at night. Maybe they still do. I don't know. I don't go out at night. And yeah, I was just going, I don't know what to do. Oh my god, what the hell is that? Help! And it would have been classic television, but sadly, wasn't recording it, because just occasionally I do play games for myself. We won't talk about PewDiePie anymore. Oh, maybe we will. PewDiePie has zero talent. All he talks about is how poor his videos are and how much he sucks, but somehow he's still successful. Does he not just scream a lot? Meanwhile, David says, sorry, that was when you were talking about the snow video. Oh, was the Let It Go in response to snow? Let it go, let it go. It is not snowing anymore. The chat's slightly out of sync with me. Deliberately. But yeah, this isn't going to roll over again, is it? Can't believe people are still here. There's 27 of you. Have you got any more questions? I'm happy to answer some more questions. I'm just deciding with myself whether to put this up. Would people just sit and listen to an hour and a half of me going bleh? I'm not sure that they would. But you never know with people. It's amazing what does well. Sometimes I'll put something up and just think, whatever. And the next thing I know, everybody's watching it. And sometimes I put loads of effort into things and they get 90 views. Truly, YouTube is a horrific beast that controls us all. Earthlorb says, you saying PewDiePie really sounds to my relaxed listening brain like paedophile. Really? I need to enunciate a bit better then. William says, the video where Jenny was super excited for the snow warms the heart every time. They were big flakes. If that snow had carried on coming down, somebody would probably have had to call an ambulance. It was awesome. Just awesome. I'll have to see. If the weather's really good over the weekend, the rest of the weekend, I have to see what I can do about weather-related videos. There's more bobsledding on. That's exciting. So I just had a notification. Also, my new 7 Days to Die render is coming to a halt here. It'll still be screwed up. I think we'll just have to put up with it being screwed up for this episode, which is really frustrating after a relaunch. and then I'll see if I can record it in something else. The bitrate in Fraps when I was recording was just mad. I mean, when I say mad, I mean it was like 140k or something stupid. Thank God for big hard drives. But I'm going to try recording in OBS and see whether it handles the movement. It's the movement that's the problem. Because with games like Theme Hospital and stuff, not Theme Hospital, sorry, 2 Point Hospital and Stardew and that sort of thing, there isn't really anything graphically intensive about it, but anything with movement, big problems. Urslorb says, I was just thinking about that show earlier when Jenny was shouting, Jen, Jen, Jen. Oh, Brass Eye. We're talking about Brass Eye. This paedophile has disguised himself as a school. I'm going to get so taken down for this, you know. I bet the algorithm can tell what I'm saying. Oh, I love the day-to-day. Not all of it. Some of it's just very slightly too strange, but other than that, it's utterly genius, isn't it? I love the World Cup bit. And actually my favourite in that is Doom McKeon. Clatterly Sisters is probably my favourite character out of that show. And the Bureau. Just love the Bureau. I'm closing the Bureau for an hour. Peter, you've lost the news. What have you got to say for yourself? I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. Sorry. Oh, it's great. Yeah, On the Hour, absolutely. A friend of mine lent me the CDs of that a while back. In fact, when I say a while back, a long time ago, and I haven't returned them to him, so thank you for reminding me of that. Oh my God, I used to love all the Radio 4 shot comedy shows in the 90s. That's where my personality developed, I think. The Mark Steele Solution, Doon Your Way, Weekending. Always used to get really excited about, as a teenager, getting excited about Radio 4. But yeah, as to what was going to be on at 6:30 at night or 11 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock on a Thursday night. They always used to put weird comedy shows. There was one called, it was like something 6. Control Group 6. God, I haven't thought about that in years. And that was really odd. And the first series of that wasn't particularly fantastic. And then suddenly, in the second series, again, they lightened up a bit. And they kind of, yeah, there we go. Control Group 6. Starring Richard Bean, Andrew Clifford, Clive Coleman and Colin Swash. It was not a fever dream. And also, Old Harry's Game. Old Harry's Game is terrific. It's great. If you've never listened to the first series of Old Harry's Game with the Andy... Oh, how embarrassing. His name's gone. Hamilton. Andy Hamilton. It is utterly brilliant. And I wanted them on CD, but they costed a fortune. So I only got the first series on tape back in the day. Miss Gnosis says, bit of a personal question. But have you ever had one of your shoelaces got stuck on the wooden box of firewood, stumbled down the stairs and had the wood hit your head? It really hurts. Unbelievably, no, but I hope you're okay, if that's actually a rhetorical question. I'm trying not to laugh because I've got an image of that in my head now that is quite funny, but I imagine probably it wasn't funny. Interference says, I used to listen to Radio 4 in the 90s and they repeated an old sci-fi radio show from the 50s that I loved called Journey into Space. The title rings a bell, but I can't think what it was about. Urslorb says, the world felt so much smaller and safer then. You could just phone up Radio 1 and say nonsense to Armando Iannucci. You could try doing that now. But yeah, it did, I don't know. Do you know, the internet, without the internet and stuff, we wouldn't have any of this, would we? But on the other hand, you never feel like you can go into that safe place anymore. Because my safe place was with the lights out, listening to Radio 4 comedy shows at 11 o'clock on a Thursday night. And that isn't a thing anymore. And yeah. It's the same with, to go back to Morrowind. Because when I first got Morrowind, the internet wasn't really a thing. Particularly, I didn't have broadband or anything. I mean, it was a thing, but I didn't. It was not the constant connection stuff. And you'd go into that world and you'd stay there because there weren't loads of distractions taking you back out of it again. And maybe that's a little bit of a lesson. Like, I can't imagine now turning my computer on and there not being the internet. But on the other hand, I kind of need to turn my computer on and there not be the internet occasionally, I suppose. Incidentally, little message to the universe, please don't break my internet. But there's always that, I could just check Twitter, I could just check my emails. Emails is different, I suppose, because emails there is actually important stuff, but it's the non-important stuff that there's too much of. And I've started closing my Twitter app and desktop interface down quite a lot so that I'm not tempted, because nobody's kind of engaged with anything anymore. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. Nobody's committed to anything or engaged to anything or becomes absorbed in anything or fully focuses on anything anymore, and it's massively to the detriment of pretty much everything. And I sort of question, I'm getting very philosophical now, but I sort of question, if we don't solve that, are we going to end up grinding to a halt because nobody is actually engaged with anything enough anymore to understand anything and therefore be able to innovate it or change it or improve it or whatever? I don't know. Something's gone a bit wrong. It's all a bit double-edged sword, isn't it, really? I'm a bit worried about the fact this 7 Days to Die video is still sitting there on 100%. But anyway. It's all a bit weird. There's 31 people here. I'm really shocked. It's great, because I'm just talking. But if you've got any questions for me, video's just rendered. If you've got any questions for me, do please feel free to ask them, because I'm not going to be here very much longer at all. Eat my words. Hello says, engaged in what way? I mean, kind of like absorbed by things. And yet, weirdly, people are like ridiculously loyal to stuff that they probably shouldn't be and get obsessed with things. But it's very difficult to quite get across what I mean. That frequently they're in kind of almost more than one world at once, or are always being broken out of certain worlds. I don't know. Namcos says, I remember hammering Morrowind. Yep, me too. I mean, I used to be up until like 3 o'clock in the morning playing that. And The Sims, actually, the original Sims. I do remember playing until about 3 o'clock in the morning, because it was just a thing. And like these days now, with the internet, I wouldn't do that anymore, because I would inevitably end up just checking Twitter or whatever, I don't know, refreshing my YouTube views or something, anything. It's just different. It is just different. And I don't know how old people are in the chat room, but if you weren't born at the right time, I don't think you'll ever know what it was like when none of this stuff existed, when that mass communication just wasn't there. Like, I see people at work on their phones all the time, and you think, God, back in the 80s and the 90s, actually, you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have had to focus on your work or whatever. Oh, David, thank you very much. David has just given $4.99 to the cause. Thank you very much indeed. That's very kind. Actually, David, I seem to remember you are one of the original subscribers, or you're certainly very, very early on, because I think you were one of the first people who followed me on Twitter. So thank you very much. Your face, in fact, has appeared in green at the top there. Well, it's not green, is it? It's more a sort of very bright turquoisey kind of colour. But thank you very much. It's brilliant. Yeah, phone or a phone box, absolutely. Read a book. Even I forget to do that. And when I do it, I really love it. And so, yeah. And yeah, I've got bloody hundreds of books on my Kindle. It's crazy. Keep buying them for £1 and then not reading them. It is a sort of teal, isn't it? Sort of bright teal colour. Internet chat rooms came into existence. My God. Yes. And they didn't feel like they do now. It was all quite innocent in a way. And again, quite organic and quite like if you had your own chat room, that was like a big thing. And yet chat is so prevalent now, but in a different way, had a different feel to it. Only 3 TV channels, says Neil. Hello, Neil. Yep, absolutely. Son of a Fitch says, me and my friend used to spend hours on there trolling before we even knew what that was. Yeah, people did on chat rooms, didn't they? God, this has turned into a right nostalgia fest, hasn't it? Some people have walked out. David says, I predate the internet. I have to tell people I remember the launch of Channel 4. Absolutely. William Trelane says, do you think you'll write a book about what? About this? It's probably not. My memoirs. My memories of when things were possibly better, but I can't decide whether they were or not. That's a very long title for a book. AOL chat. You see, I never had AOL, but same thing. MSN Messenger, ICQ. God, I had ICQ. Yeah. With a little flower. You used to get a number, didn't you? And I wanted to... Oh, ICQ was quite exciting. IRC. That's still around. It's just full of idiots. The original Civilization. Yeah, first... Oh, let's have a... Yeah, what was your first real obsessive game? That's actually a really good discussion point. What was your first real obsessive game? Because mine, I think, might have been Football Manager 2 on the Acorn Electron. I can't think of anything before that. Urslob says, is there a number update coming soon? I don't know. I've kind of given up on that. I don't know. Let's face it, even if there is, it'll probably only go up to 999990 or something. Jim says, Populous was the first game that I really obsessed over. I remember closing my eyes and still seeing the screen. Yeah, that happens to me. That absolutely happens to me with certain things. Like You Must Build a Boat, where you're still matching tiles in your head. What was the other one as well the other day that I was playing? And I really, really regretted playing it for as long as I did. Because all I can see... I mean, 7 Days to Die is one of those. All you can see is just the axe and stuff. Gets in... Tech Trashing, hello to you, says... / join Jenny's Wares. Jenny Wares. Never do that, how dare you. Eat My Word says Doomdark's Revenge. Namcos says Castle of the Winds. Neil says Atari 2600 Space Invaders. Sebastian, hello, says Zack McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders on the C64. Lone Star says it was either Dungeon Siege or Planescape Torment. Oh, I know what it was before Football Manager. The game that's definitely not a myth. Dragon Slayer. It was on the front cover disc. In fact, it wasn't even a cover disc. It was a type-in thing, I think. But for some reason, we got it on a disc. On the front cover of, like, Electron User or something. And it was like a very early RPG. Like a kind of Pokemon-type RPG, you know, that sort of hit point fighting. Almost like a Steve Livingston and... Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson book, but on the screen you went round a map and you went down dungeons and you had to choose what to put your points into. I was obsessed with that, and I've never, ever found anybody who remembers it. Ever! And I think I've still got the disc somewhere. And I have an Electron somewhere as well, so who knows, maybe I'll get that up and running one day, just to prove that it did actually exist. But yeah, that was my first seriously mega obsession game. And you used to have to choose strength, dexterity and constitution. I always used to put my points into strength, but I was always crap at fighting and I used to die if I do that. And it was because I didn't understand what dexterity was, and dexterity was about how you handled weapons, and if you didn't have any weapon handling skills then obviously you died. And once I worked that out, suddenly it got a lot easier. But yeah, getting to the other side of that map and defeating that dragon or whatever it was you had to do was fantastic. But anyway, memories. William says Midnight Resistance I was obsessed with on the C64. David remembers being yelled at to get off the line when he had AOL dial-up. Yep. And being yelled at about the phone bill. Namcos says On the Run and Who Dares Wins 2. Interference says this wasn't... Oh, sorry, I've messed one out. Eat My Words says School Days. Interference says Baldur's Gate or Thief 2. Rodent of the Astro Waste, hello to you, says Quest for the Time Bird. Miss Gnosis says it's almost midnight, so I've got to go. Bye! Thank you for joining us and joining in the chat. This has been lovely. I don't know what goodbye is in Finnish, but goodbye. ZB Dress says welcome to you, says Fighting Fantasy. Yeah. Yep, actually, yeah, that was probably my first game Oh, I don't know, actually, not my first game obsession, because I started with computers really early, but yeah, I used to love those. I used to get the sheets photocopied by my dad in his work. And yeah, you're right, the apps don't feel quite the same, do they? You're right, they don't. They are good, but they don't quite work. I did Sorcery, if nobody's seen. I reviewed the Sorcery games made by Inkle Studios. And I've got those, and I think I've got House of Hell, which I had as a book, and I've got Forest of Doom, which I never had. But yeah, going to the library and seeing whether they had one that you didn't have. Oh, so exciting. You see, now that you can get everything all the time, things are not exciting anymore. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Jim Hipkins says, when I had my Specky, I spent more time trying to make games than I did play them. I think that's fair enough. It wasn't until I got a Master System that I actually started playing games properly. True. Lone Star says, my most obsessive game that I played for the longest time but never beat was King's Quest VI. Urslorp says, fighting fantasy were my obsession before I had a NES. Me and a friend tried to get into Dungeons and Dragons, but there were only 2 of us in the village, so it never really worked. Oh, you could have made other people out of broomsticks and stuff. And so that's why I never managed to get into anything like that, because there was just nobody around. Even when I went to university, actually, when I went to university, my interest sort of went elsewhere. I never did it. But I had the Vampire the Masquerade book. I say had. I have it. In fact, I can see it from where I'm sitting. But I never got to play anything like that. And that's a bit of a shame. In fact, that reminds me, talking about ideas that I have and never see through on. I did say, and Astrogali very kindly bought me the book of the Games Masters monster book out of the pit. I've never used it because we said we were going to do a games night, an online one, and I've still never done it. That's an interesting thought. If you would be interested in that, would you just let me know? Because it might poke me a bit to do something like that. Zebydress says, on the Spectrum I love the level 9 adventure games, and then Red Alert and Command and Conquer. Old Mopart says, what game scared you the most when you were younger but you kept playing it anyway? Mine was 2010 for the ColecoVision. Oh my god, Alone in the Dark. The original Alone in the Dark. Absolutely terrifying. That dog coming through the window, I've never forgotten it. Oh, yeah, that was just whoa. David says The Hobbit and very early Football Manager. I'm going to assume we're talking about obsessions and not about games that scared you. Unless Football Manager scared you particularly. Which I suppose is possible. Getting slightly excited now, so I'm also getting indigestion. When you talk too much, you end up with a lot of air inside you and it has to come out. Yeah! Oh my god, I was literally about to say. I think we've got another couple of minutes before the next roll. There it is! Oh my god, I don't believe it! This was not for nothing. Thank you for sticking around. That's fantastic. This is about the only time that I'm ever going to be able to do one of these live rollover things. A bit of the foam off my microphone. It's just gone flying because I was so excited. I'm just going to pop that back. Hey, well, what can I say? This is a highlights video. If I want any highlights videos again, this is going to be a highlights video. So if you're watching this back, look out for the 30-second version where everybody goes mad. How exciting is this? Thank you all. Oh, it's brilliant. A Jennyverse subscriber count next. Like that's never going to happen. But yes. Oh, well. Actually did it. And a load more of you are now starting to come out of the woodwork here. Person type thing. The cat said what? I'd like to think it said meow. Soul surrender. Oh, thank you all so much. I can go to bed now. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm so... Hang on a minute. Hang on one little minute. What did I tell you? What did I tell you about YouTube? You absolute and utter swine. well, double highlight there. Well, a highlight and a low light. Because it's just rolled back. Well, thank you so much. I'd like to point out, actually, I've just refreshed it on my own screen and it's still at over 1 million. It's 1,050,000. So, I'm taking that. I'm going to end it here before... Oh, there we go. They've given it me back again. We get to celebrate twice. Yay! That's completely bizarre. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, double celebration and a slightly longer highlight video than intended. But I really do need to stop here. I genuinely, absolutely want to thank all of you. This started in 2011 during a very hot summer when all I wanted to do was prove to myself that technically and in myself I could go onto YouTube and I could make a video. Voiceover Pete! Pete is here! Hello Pete, how are you doing? This is awesome. We can all agree that Pete did the best video, the best channel trailer ever. Oh, this is amazing. Thank you for joining us. I hope you were here for the double... I'm going to call that the double rollover now. For the double... Only people in the UK will get that. But yeah, the double rollover. Oh, this is amazing. Pete, you have been more of a support than you know, I think. And I'm still very grateful to you for telling me to buy a new microphone because you were absolutely right. And things have been very different ever since. But you are doing some very funny stuff. Your Pete for President video is outstanding and it's great. It's so nice to see you all here. But I'm dead excited now. Thank you very much indeed. Goodbye, David. Thank you for joining me. Again, you were one of the very first subscribers. I'd love to know who the first ones were. Because, you know, you forget, don't you? I certainly know that Dave Bagnall, Steve Benway and Gopher Gaming are the first people who got me going. And people like Pete are the people who have kept it going. So yeah, here's to another 1 million indeed in another 8 years. Thank you very much for joining us, Pete. Yeah, you have an epic weekend as well, swinging swords around and whatever else you're planning to do. I'm so jealous of where you live. It looks amazing. But yeah. Oh, wow. That's brilliant. I think we can all, after 2 hours, just... more than 2 hours, actually, just have a bit of a stretch, as I say, because of my miracle morning stuff. I actually need to start preparing to go to bed. And I kind of want to get out of here while it's still on 1 million. So maybe we should do this again sometime. This has actually proved probably just as popular as doing a gaming video. But it's so nice to see you all having a chat. If you want to carry on having a chat while the stream isn't live, I have a Discord server. I did tweet the invitation to it. I'm going to have to re-invite you. Let me just do that. Unfortunately, I think Pete is gone, but I think Pete should also join this. If you're not already there, you absolutely should be. We tweet pictures of food, largely, and talk about free computer games and whatnot. And you get notifications of when I've got a video out, if you're not being notified any other way. Urslorb is going to have a mint chocolate ice cream thing to celebrate. That sounds like an absolutely outstanding plan, but I'm coming up on the 2 hours now, and I'm getting a bit tired. So thank you all again. I will put up some version of this, and a very small highlights video as well for everybody else who couldn't be bothered to watch it. And I will see you when I next see you, which actually could potentially be tomorrow, no promises, but certainly at some point in the next couple of days. So good night, or indeed good day to all of you. Thank you for joining me. Please spread the word. I have to do my YouTube stuff. Got like 48 seconds left, so I have to say, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, retweet. I've got a Patreon, etc, 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 because without people spreading the word, YouTube is never going to do that. It's all on you. That's your responsibility. But no, I am genuinely going to leave now, and I will see you very much anon.